Hey, it's Rick Kettner here, and in this episode, we're going to go through 10 of the very best content marketing books. I've used content marketing as a core strategy in a number of businesses over the years. It's a very well-established approach when it comes to attracting an audience and building trust and authority with that audience. And over the last decade or so, content marketing has become a very popular approach, especially as it's become easier to publish articles, videos, podcasts, and other forms of content. So with this list, I'm going to go through all 10 books so that you can identify and choose the ones that you feel would be most relevant to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So let's dive directly into the list, starting with They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. If you have an established business and you're simply looking to add content marketing into the mix to grow your reach, to attract more customers to your business, then in my personal opinion, this is the very best book on that subject. It really focuses on how to create the right content to attract more people to your business and to convert those people into paying customers, and just generally to become a far more trusted authority in your marketplace so that more people in the category are aware that you exist and they turn to your business when they're looking for help. So this book covers the 5 most important subjects that you need to address when it comes to creating content, including pricing and costs, problems, versus and comparisons, reviews, and best in class. And it goes on to explain how to create content for each one of these categories, and it goes much, much deeper, covering all kinds of topics, including how to use your content to streamline your sales process. So again, if you have an established business and you're looking to get into content marketing, in my personal opinion, this is the best book to start on. And as with many of the books in this list, I do have a follow-up episode where I go through 3 of my favorite insights from the book. So if you're interested in checking that out before you pick up a copy, you can find a link down in the episode description box. Let's continue on to Content Inc. by Joe Pulizzi. This book can help you build a massive online audience, whether, as with the last book, you already have an established business, or if you're looking to build the audience first and then eventually turn that into a business. This is an incredibly popular strategy today. Many entrepreneurs understand the value of first building a connection, establishing an audience, attracting people that are interested in a specific topic or theme, and then later finding out the kinds of products and services that those people are interested in and turning that audience into a business. So whether you have an established business, again, as with the last book, or you're simply looking to build an online audience, this book covers 6 very important steps. And those include choosing the right audience, creating a unique content strategy, establishing a solid foundation, building a loyal audience, diversifying your content over time, and finding multiple ways to make money once you've established an audience. So again, whether you have an established business already or you're looking to build an audience first, this book can help you build a massive online following. Let's continue on to Contagious by Jonah Berger. One of the most important factors in content marketing is word of mouth referral. If you can create content that is more likely to be shared and recommended to other people, that can have a huge impact in the long-term success of your content. So this book is all about how to create products, services, or in this case, content that is more likely to be shared and recommended by those that consume it. It covers these 6 principles of contagiousness. 6 unique things that you can incorporate into your content to make it more likely that people will share and recommend it. You can take any one of the ideas, or you can combine multiple together to create content that is far more likely to spread. And the book includes many practical examples of businesses that use these principles to make products, services, or even content that is much more likely to become contagious. And again, this is one of those books where I do have a follow-up episode covering my 3 favorite insights. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can find a link in the description box. Let's continue on to Start With Why by Simon Sinek. If you really want to connect with your audience and build trust and authority, it's very important to clarify your why, the deeper purpose and reason behind what it is that you're creating with your content. Because if you can clarify your reason why and share that with your audience, you can form a much stronger bond and connection with them. So this book covers what's called the golden circle: what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. And the why is the most important because, as Simon Sinek explains, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Take what I'm doing here, for example: the what, the how, and the why. What I'm doing: I share practical insights from great business books. How do I do that? I summarize key ideas and publish them in short video and audio form. But why do I do that? Well, I happen to be a big believer in self-directed learning. And I'm a big believer in the power of business to create positive change in the world. So I dropped out of high school in grade 11. I wasn't a big fan of the classroom setting. I loved learning, but I spent most of my time reading computer and business-related books instead of focusing on what the teacher was covering. So over the years, great business books and the ideas and insights contained within them have played a profound impact in my life. They've allowed me to build and sell multiple successful businesses. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for books. And perhaps most important of all, I really feel a sense of purpose in sharing my passion for reading and sharing the great books that I've been fortunate to come across over the last 20 plus years in business so that other entrepreneurs out there can take those same books or some of the latest books that I'm covering here and pursue their own adventure in business and hopefully not only build a sustainable business, but create a positive result and positive improvements for the world today. So that's the reason why I'm ultimately creating this kind of content. Now, as I quickly broke that down, and that's a relatively short explanation behind why I create this kind of content, but ask yourself, which of those 3 explanations of what it is that I do did you connect with most? Was it the what, the how, or the why? Now, if you're at all interested in reading, almost certainly you connected most with the why. And that is what we're talking about here, because even though you almost certainly found this content by looking for the what or perhaps the how, it's the why that might allow us to connect on a deeper level and may in fact cause you to come back to my content at some point in the future. Because hopefully, if I'm doing my job right, and if you are interested in reading, you'll connect with me on an emotional level and understand that I might think in a similar way to you. So that's kind of the idea here. And as with some of the other books, I do have a follow-up episode covering my 3 favorite insights from this book. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more before you pick up a copy, you can find a link to that in the description box. Let's continue on to The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing by Al Ries and Jack Trout. This is one of my favorite business books of all time. It focuses on the power of positioning, how to position your products, your services, or in this case, your brand, whether it's your personal brand, whether it's your business brand, however it is that you're publishing content, you want to make it very easy for people to make a connection between your brand and what it is that you do. So for example, ESPN. Many people would connect that with sports news and coverage. Or The Verge, you might connect that with technology news and opinions. Or TED, you might connect that with interesting expert talks. And the idea here is, number one, you want people to be very clear in what it is that you do, but where this book really shines and the core idea behind this book is you want the reverse association to also be true. So for example, if you think of a category like sports coverage, you might think of ESPN. There are a lot of people out there that might do sports coverage, but the leading brand in the category is ESPN. And as a result, when many people think of the category, they immediately think of that brand. Effectively, ESPN is living rent-free in their minds because whenever they think of that category, they think of the brand. This is what you want to achieve, and this is what this book is all about, so that not only are people clear on what it is that you offer, but when they're interested in that subject or that theme, they naturally think of you. So a very important book when it comes to positioning your brand in the minds of potential customers. Let's continue on to This Is Marketing by Seth Godin. This book is primarily about marketing products and services, but at its core, it's really about how to create a movement, how to build momentum with something new. And when it comes to content marketing, momentum is very, very important, especially early on when you're attracting your first readers or viewers or listeners. So one trap that a lot of creators fall into, as do product developers, is they aim too broad. They target an audience that is too large and generic. And one of the reasons why is because they feel if they don't aim broad enough, they won't have an opportunity to build momentum or to reach a large audience, or even if they want to start small, they still want the option to eventually reach a much larger audience. But unfortunately, what that approach really fails to consider is just how difficult it is to create change, to build momentum, or to be noticed, or to have people care about what it is that you're doing. So this book is all about making sure you can build that initial momentum. And one of the core recommendations in this book is to focus on the smallest viable market, to choose a very small niche to start where you can identify a group of people that are going to benefit most from what it is that you're creating. Because ultimately, and ironically, as the book explains, it's this audience that's going to allow you to build the momentum that you need to eventually reach a larger and more diverse audience. And again, this is one of the books where I do have a follow-up episode where I cover 3 of my favorite insights from the book. Let's continue on to Break Through the Noise by Tim Staples and Josh Young. This is another really great book when it comes to creating highly shareable content. And this one focuses primarily on video content. The authors created a company called Shareability, and that business is responsible for some of the most popular viral videos of all time. And not just any random viral videos, but videos that were specifically designed to promote either a product or a business brand. So they set out to create a video that would not only be highly shareable, but simultaneously would help to promote some business interest. Very difficult to pull off, but this book is about how to achieve that. So if you're interested in creating brand building content, this book covers 9 different rules for how to increase the shareability of business-related content. An absolute must-read, especially if you're creating video content. Let's continue on to How to Be an Imperfectionist by Stephen Guise. This book isn't so much about content marketing as it is about a topic that is very important when it comes to creating content, and that is a perfectionist mindset. It's very tempting to wait before you publish something so that you can make that perfect article or that perfect video or that perfect podcast episode, but this approach really prevents you from creating the content that you need to ultimately iterate and improve your ability to create content. Because if you never publish anything, or if you're very slow to publish, you're not going to get the information and advice and feedback that you need to see things from a bigger picture and to really improve your ability to create content much faster. Now, this is something that I've absolutely struggled with and continue to struggle with on a regular basis. There is this desire to create content that is more concise and more direct, but if you always aim for this high bar of perfectionism, it can prevent you from publishing a lot of content. It can ultimately slow down your ability to create content. And as I hinted at earlier, your ability to gather useful information and feedback to improve your skills. So if you struggle at all with perfectionism, and if you want to break free of that and be able to publish content more consistently and more efficiently, then I recommend that you consider picking up a copy of this book. Let's continue on to Everybody Writes by Ann Handley. If you want to create really great content, it's important to develop great writing skills. And this is true whether or not you're creating written content like blog posts or articles or emails or something like that. Because in this era today of social media, it's often said that every company is a media company. We need to be able to produce great videos, great podcasts, things like that to get our message out there. I would take this idea a step further and say anybody creating or publishing text of any importance at all needs to consider themselves a writer today. So if every company is a media company, everyone doing any form of writing is now a writer. And it's very important that we develop the skills necessary to convey our message more effectively. Whether you're writing detailed articles, social media posts, email updates, or even just descriptions for a YouTube video. Very important to develop the skills to articulate your message much more effectively. And this book focuses on practical tips and advice on how to improve your ability to write more effectively. Let's continue on to the last book on the list, which is YouTube Secrets by Sean Cannell and Benji Travis. If your content strategy relies on YouTube, it's very important that you understand how the platform operates. This is the only book in the entire list that is platform specific because YouTube isn't just the most popular video platform, it's the #2 search engine in the world. So even as IGTV, TikTok, and even Facebook video continue to become more and more relevant over time, YouTube is a very unique platform in that a lot of people go to YouTube looking for specific answers to predetermined questions. So if you can create content with an understanding of how the platform works, how the recommendation engine works, well, you can make it much more likely that people are going to discover your content, consume your content, and ideally share and recommend it to other people. So if you're creating video content and you plan to publish on YouTube, I highly recommend that you read a book like this so that you can make the most out of the platform. Anyway, those are 10 of the very best content marketing books. As I mentioned earlier, if you're brand new to content marketing and you already have an established business, then I recommend that you start with They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And if you want a different perspective, or if you're looking to build your audience before building your business, then I recommend that you check out Content Inc. by Joe Pulizzi. That's it for this episode. If you have any questions or comments about anything that we covered here, let me know down in the comment section below. If you're listening to the audio edition, I'll include a link in the show notes that'll take you over to the video edition where you can participate in the comment section. If you're interested in more content like this in the future, I recommend that you subscribe or follow my updates on social media. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to connecting with you again in a future episode.